welcome to 15 to 15. And our focus today is the academic field of comparative religion studies. There's probably a comparative religion study at whatever university or college you are at.
Okay.
And I'm going to use two kind of sources that are very close to me. One is a personal friend is a man named Dr. Peter Huff. Peter Huff is a comparative religion scholar, and he was working at the University of Mary, teaching various kinds of classes, and now he's at a Benedictine college near Chicago. And he was hired by one of these great courses type fields. I think it's called, I'm not sure what, I can't even see it, but there's his name, Peter Huff.
Okay.
And he produced this lecture series on the religions of the world. What's that actually called?
Introduction to World Religions.
Right, you can see comparative religion kind of thing.
Yes.
And in his opening lecture, he introduces us to the whole field of people who study religion as an objective field. You know, there are the different religions of the world, but that means you have to define what religion is and how to study it and different approaches. But in that, he refers to a very important comparative religion scholar named Ninian Smart. His book, one of his books, is The Religious Experience of Mankind. And one of the things that Peter Huff points out in this is that Ninian Smart showed us that you can study religion from various points of view, and there are 7 of those that he focuses on. And the first one is something called belief, then the second is what you might call ritual, and I memorized these, and I go B-R-N-E-S-E-A, and we'll go through those together. And I have the from Buddhism,
it's the same
from Buddhism to Judaism on Audible. And so in his opening lecture for about 4 minutes, he explains Ninian Smart's 7 different components, and we're going to record those or listen to them about 4 minutes, and then we will discuss them, apply them. So let's just listen to Peter Huff talk about Ninian Smart's 7 concepts.
Well, to help us understand the many dimensions of religion, he's spoken of 7. Let's talk about how to study religion
Get
now.
it back on and shut it off.
Basically, there are 2 ways.
How are we doing in time?
4 minutes, 20 seconds.
Okay, very good. What I do with those 7 is I put the first one, I use my own name as a mnemonic device, B-R-N, so belief, and then I take his ritual aspect, what he calls cult, and I put that R, and then there is the element of action, which is maybe an ethical sense, like what do you, things to do and not to do. And then the element of narrative. Religion tells stories, or it has stories to tell, like in a sacred book. So there's belief, the ritual, what he calls cult or ceremonial, action, or things you should avoid, and then narrative. And then the second part is C, which is there's a social side to this. Groups get together, whether we're talking large groups or we're talking about the experience, the social reality of the people at the local Baptist Evangelical Church. That's a social dimension. And then there is the experiential, which is more personal. And I love this phrase, what does it feel like to be a Buddhist in Bismarck? What does it feel like to be your relatives that were Lutherans? What did it feel like for Lillian to be a Lutheran? And how did she experience that socially? All of these things. And then there's the aesthetic or art, which is your realm of being an artist. Obviously, in Christianity does a lot of paintings, of pictures, And Buddhists make various temples, different styles, their clothing styles. And so I find this very useful to be able to refer to these different aspects of religion. Part of it is obviously belief, but that is secondary in some ways to all these other dimensions. So, how much time is left?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Why
So
don't?
Brancy is the
Well, that's how the way I do it.
belief, ritual. Let's go through them once. Belief, ritual, action. N is
Narrative. The
narrative.
N. S.
Spiritual.
Social.
Social.
How does it the group
experiential. Art.
Yes.
Aesthetic.
Right. And now one of the questions under religion would be: is Quakerism a religion? There is a question. I mean, it's something to think about historically and all this. But let's say we're applying this to this group. When the Quakers got together today, they have a ritualized behavior of silence. That is definitely a cultic behavior that they do over and over and again. They feel.
What does cultic mean?
The word cultic is, and remember he says, I love the use of cult. Cult is, it's a more scholarly word for ceremonies. There's a, yeah, we have to think about that, but ceremony and cult are very closely related. And
do you know how it got a bad connotation?
Because in the last several years, we're obsessed with our people are in a cult. And basically, for scholars, it is the word for the culture of the ritual, and I turn that into an R for ritual because of my name. Everything is, if you're a narcissist like me, but it's a positive narcissist, then you do good things. But belief, ritual, the action element, ethic, do this or not do that, and narrative, the world of story, whether those are biblical stories or stories of saints, or it may be the story of how your church got organized or what happened when Pastor Bob came and how that affected things. There are many, many narratives, and the comparative religion scholar might say, I'm going to do a study of the Lutheran Church in Bismarck, which you have roots in, and how it got formed. And
My roots in the Lutheran Church.
Right. Well, but there's a story there as well.
Of
these Swedish people, how they came over here and they established that Swedish Lutheran Church.
I don't know if I've ever been in one.
Well,
maybe in Botno. I might have been in one in Botno.
Okay, well that brings to the cut, and now if we can continue if you'd like. Thank you very much. That closes our 15 minutes.
15 minutes is done.
Yes, go ahead.
So do you use those types of methods often, like mnemonic devices?
Oh, yes.
You use those a lot?
Oh.
You got a bunch of them?
I like memorizing stuff. And so I'm in the mnemonic business because I'm a memorizer.
Let's do 4. We can do 4 minutes.
But wouldn't you, if you found this useful, like if, let's say you're teaching a course or you're dealing with Christian paintings, which are, so you can see that, okay, it's aesthetic side, it's just art, but it plays a role in the 7-part. This painting obviously plays a role in Christian culture, history, and it's part of a great big giant chapel in Rome, the most powerful church in the world, and Michelangelo is doing it. So if we're going to think about it, we can talk about it in forms of design and color, just like you normally would, but it is also part of this religion world, and having a tool to think about Buddhism or Taoism or Hinduism or Islam with its beautiful architecture, I think that's a very useful thing.
Which ones do we got? What do you think is the aesthetics of Quakerness?
Right from the beginning, the Quakers are rejecting beautiful churches. They're rejecting stained glass window. They are they are iconoclastic. They're I don't think they were breaking them like some
Right, yeah.
Puritans were actually smashing them, because there was something happened in Christianity that said there's too much emphasis on beauty, too much emphasis on opulence. They probably didn't say it. And so the aesthetic was the very stark, simple church, and it's related to Shaker furniture. You can see how that Quaker Shaker furniture is not too, you know
And
what
that
I mean?
stuff's really simple.
Very
Shaker furniture.
simple, beautiful, but beautifully done. And there's a Shaker furniture aesthetic, and you can see how closely it's related to that Quaker.
Did Quakers make furniture?
Well, I suppose everybody had to make furniture, but
No, but
I
they
think the
wasn't known
Shakers
for it.
No, the Shakers are related to them though, and it's interesting that I do one of my spiritual practices is with the Quakers of the Bismarck Mandan, and it's wonderful that the Unitarian windows are clear glass windows. I like stained glass. I mean, I like it all. It's all beautiful and interesting, and all this, but those clear big windows at the Unitarians are very conducive to that Quaker simplicity. It is simple.
You gotta set up those chairs.
The chairs are pretty simple too. Actually, I told my wife once, that is your mother, said, I'd like to have a Shaker chair. And I would, she said, oh, man, I could get it, and then we could bring it
There might be smaller now with Etsy and all this stuff.
I know it.
I bet it's probably easier to get a hold of one.
Yes, that would be fascinating. But I like your thing that the Quakers have
But they're
their
known
own,
for just being like chair.
Yes.
There's no ornamentation or carving.
I don't think so. You could look them up, but there's a Shaker style, and I am kind of making the case that it's related to Quakerism. But for some reason, around 500 years ago, when the Protestant movement happened, and there was a part of it, that Puritanism, that emphasized simplicity against what I think they would call the opulence of the Church of England and Catholicism, and it just got simpler and simpler. And I spend a lot of time thinking about what is the meaning of this simplicity, and why am I spending any time with it? Thank you. That was lovely.
Okay, so today we're going to learn how to make a presentation in Google Slides. Okay? In Google Slides, that's a thing everybody has that has a Gmail account. You have a Gmail account, right?
Yes.
So when you sign into your Gmail account, you see this screen first, correct?
I guess I don't use it very often.
So you're not too familiar even with the Gmail screen, is what you're saying?
Yes, I'm saying that.
Okay, so if you are to sign into your Gmail account, you get all of your messages here.
Yes, of course.
Right?
Yes.
What you're going to want to do is click on these dots up here. Can you see these dots?
Yes.
You click those dots, and all of a sudden you've got all this different stuff here. Right?
Yes.
Amongst all this stuff is something called Drive. When you click on Drive, it opens up a new tab. See how these things are up here? Those two things are tabs. Now here, once you're here, you click on this thing called New, and then you go to Google Slides. And now you have here, you can just click on the title, for instance, and you could call this Pickles and Poems. And now you can see you're in a place where you can start adding text, you can start adding images, and all these sorts of things. But how do you get images here? let's say you just want to make a very simple presentation with some images. So tell me a name of something, image.
Let's get related to a dill pickle.
A dill pickle.
Because we have a title that we can pull. Whoa!
So here we have all the Google images that we get for dill pickles, right?
Yes.
But let's say we like this image here.
I love that.
You're able to copy this whole image without even having to save it by doing something called copying and pasting. So here you can see I've got this tab open, I've got this tab open. So that's another important thing to kind of get used to, is having all these tabs open. Then you can click, here's your presentation, here's all your stuff, here's your Gmail account. So you can click around and you can see all this different stuff. Now using your mouse, you can right click on an image and then you can go to copy image. Then you go back to your presentation and you paste by hitting Control V on your keyboard. And now we have the dill pickle. There's our friend the dill pickle. Now, if we want to add a new slide, we can click this little plus button right here. See how that just makes new slides?
And I can see this is similar to PowerPoint, which I kind of knew, but I don't do it regularly. But this is, I recognize the fun.
So we got just 5 slides here. Let's put some different pickles here. I'm going to right click, copy. We're going to go back to that tab, select our slide, and we're going to hit Control V. And now our next pickle is there. We go to the 3rd slide. Copy, Control V. We get our pickles here.
Yes.
Now, let's say this isn't a very good way to present, is it? It's inside, there's all this crap everywhere. So, when you're ready to present, you just click this play button right here that says present. So you can see how these different things work in Google Slides. Now you're going to be tasked with trying to do this yourself. Let's see if how far you could possibly get.
Well, I might have.
You're going to have a lot of problems,
Yes.
but we're going to go through every single problem. Okay? So come back here. Can you come back to the desk?
Oh, back there.
We're at 7.5 minutes
I
left.
need a mnemonic device bad. But
Sit down.
ooh, this is nice. I wish I had a desk like this.
You do.
Oh.
So, now the first thing, what is your first question? I'm going to ask you things, and if you don't know, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
But can you open Google Drive?
Google Drive. Google Drive.
Here's a mouse. Here's an
Here's a
old
mouse? Ooh, Google Drive.
So that you start by clicking
Oh,
the
those dots.
Click
Yes.
the dots.
Then stop. I'm going to go to something called Slides.
Drive. First you got to go to Drive. Go to Google Drive.
Where is? I don't see it because I can't see. There. Yes. I'm opening Google Drive and I went up to the big dots, and
These dots?
Yeah, they were bigger. Yeah.
And then
I hit the Drive.
Good.
Now
this is going to show you everything that you got. But can you start a new slide? Can you start a new slide presentation?
Well, I would like to go to Google Slides, I think.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go to my Drive.
Go to New. No, go to New.
Now here we go to New.
And then you go down to slides.
Yes.
One more. One, that's sheets.
Oh, shit. See what happens when new, and then
Slides.
is down here. Okay.
There you go.
Now, and this looks like PowerPoint to me.
Now all of a sudden you've got your main stuff here,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got your slide area here.
Sure.
Now, there's one thing that's annoying that I find annoying about this is that they always start your presentation with a text box.
Yeah.
If you have only an image, you don't really need a text box.
Right.
But let's say you want to name your presentation, you could click in there, just click.
Okay, now
and then you just type.
I'm going to type something.
Okay, and then you could click there, and then you can write a name. Right?
Yes, yes.
But this is the title page.
Yes.
We want to get a blank slide.
Yes.
So we're going to click
on
up
the plus,
there.
On the plus. On the plus?
Yeah.
Because it's adding new things.
And now you have a new slide there.
There's the slide, just this
now
like
you've got a new one. There's
yes.
your title. Now you've got a new one. So now let's say I want you to open up a tab. Can you open up a new tab? Got 4 minutes.
We got tabs up here.
So you open a tab by clicking the plus.
Yeah, I've never done that before.
Now, on my computer, you don't even have to click inside Google. But why don't you, click inside there.
Because we're going to look for an image of some kind.
Type in your whatever you want to search for.
I'm going to call. I'm going to go with pickles again.
Okay. Just hit enter. Now you're going to go to images, which is there. Click the images.
Oh yeah, images up there.
Now you got all your images.
Yeah. Ooh, semi-grotesque. And I'm putting okay, now I got the image and I want to put one of these up there.
So click on the one you would like.
Well, I want something that's not disgusting, so let's go with this. I'm going to go with this.
So now you can see it here.
Hot garlic.
Go there and right-click on that image.
Right. I remember that. Right-click.
And then go to, it's right there, of course.
Copy.
Right up above it. There you go. Down, 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 down. Up. There you go.
On copy.
Left click.
Yeah, it's not.
Now it's copied. Now go back to your presentation.
Up here. Right.
Go there. Click there.
It says presentation.
And now hit Control V on your keyboard. Control V.
Whoa, it did it without my having to do it here.
Right. I don't know why.
Why is it doing that?
What the hell?
It's ruined. Okay, but...
How in the hell?
Well, things happen. That's okay.
What? How could you possibly mess it up so bad?
So fast. It's kind of pretty, though. Okay, there it is.
That was really weird.
Many weird things happen in technology. Okay, so we use Control V after we did copy there with the right click, I believe it was.
You're right.
And then it pulled me back. And then I had to go up to presentation to get back to my empty screen.
Correct.
Yes, okay.
Well, we got a minute and a half. Let's see if you could add one more image in a minute and a half.
Well, I'm going to go to this plus, right?
Yep.
Because that's the thing that adds.
Good. Now you've got a new slide here.
And I want to...
go get a new image.
A new image. How did we start that? Was that up here someplace?
Yep. Click it.
Oh.
Now click on a different image.
Okay. This is a beautiful one. We're right click, right?
No, just left click. make it bigger.
Oh, yes.
Brings it up there. Now, right-click it there.
Yes, and I'll go to copy.
One up.
Oh, what does it say underneath?
Copy image.
Okay, and I'm doing left click.
Yep. Go back to your presentation.
Yes, of course. Presentation, untitled presentation.
And now hit just Control V.
Control V.
Lightly and normally. Just
together?
Once. No, just Control then V.
There it is.
There it came through.
Yeah, but it was coming. Okay, we have the beginning of our pickle presentation here. And if I wanted to do it more, I could just keep adding.
Yes.
And that would be good practice for me. The add. I'm just going to, is that okay?
We got 7 seconds.
Add. Google. Click.
Right click. Copy image. You're right. There it is. Go back.
Oh, I don't think I right.
You got it.
Go back. Go back
to the other tab where your presentation is.
Oh, presentation.
And then Control V like a normal human.
There it is. And I could go to plus, Google. I'm starting to get the feeling for that.
It's not that bad.
No, of course not. No, but oh boy.
And you have this on your computer. All you need is a Gmail account. You have a Gmail account. So literally all you have to do is go to Gmail, open the drive, open the slides.
Yes.
So.
Google, open the drive and show me that drive because that
here.
There. Okay.
Then.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Here. That opens all your stuff because you could have Word documents. Google does a lot of different stuff, you know?
Yes.
And then here you click New. Oops. And then here you pick Slides.
I remember.
And then it opens a new tab of Slides.
This is the
yes?
part I like when it gets to that because then I can just keep plussing forever. And I could have written in there too, of course.
Yeah. You can copy text as well.
If I had, well, what if I had written in there?